Mack Rhoades has taken a leave of absence from Baylor and the CFP committee. Is his time in Waco done?
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello there, Bears fans. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Baylor, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and the #1 sports podcast network in the world. I'm Cam Stewart of Rogue Media. Joining me, Pete Sousa of Rogue Media, Inside the 12 and ESPN. Today, we're, of course, covering this Mack Rhoades story wire to wire with all that we know right now. What does this leave of absence look like? Is his time at Baylor actually about done? And what does this mean for Dave Aranda? This puts in kind of a weird timeline for the Dave Aranda hot seat. And yeah, I guess the Bears play a game tomorrow against the number 13 Utah Utes, who now all of a sudden feel pretty good about their playoff chances, sitting there right on the cusp of it, and with Mark Harlan potentially taking over in Mack Rhoades' spot, at least on the committee, maybe not heading the committee. So all that and more coming up on this episode of Locked On Baylor. Pete Sousa, great to have you on this Friday. And it's not like we love bringing you in on Fridays and getting you ready for the weekend, but when I get big news like this, Pete Sousa is my call. And this was massive coming out on Thursday. We're trying to keep up to the minute with all that we have as we record here. But Pete, just give me your initial reaction hearing Mack Rhoades stepping away from Baylor and then finding out minutes later, stepping away from the CFP as well. So this is a crucial time of year, but clearly something bigger going on here.
Well, it's a total bummer. First thing I can say is I'm a huge fan of Mack. Baylor, Mack, et cetera, giving me a lot of opportunities. So it's not like it hurts my heart, like to see this come out. And I honestly, when I saw the news, you, like me, I had heard scuttlebutt about this whole situation, the Michael Trigg situation, a couple weeks in advance of it breaking. It was actually somebody gave it to me and was like, you should contact ESPN about this. Like, go to Pete Thamel and tell him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I could do that for you. He's right down the street from me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. But I wasn't going to reach out to anybody. I'm sure Pete Thamel had known the story and had heard it. And had been like, I'm not going there. And if Pete Sousa is finding about it, on November 1st, when it happens September 20th, I can guarantee you most of the college football media world has heard about it, right? And didn't have enough to go on it. But when the report came out last Friday, I thought it was so strange that this does not surprise me, in a sense that I appreciated Baylor was as forthright and as transparent as they could be at the time it all came out. But the situation in itself had become was so odd that I thought, well, there's got to be, because that's one thing I know from leading all my days back doing PR. Yeah. Like, the only people who really know are the people in that building. And sometimes they don't even know. We can speculate and we can get sources, but really, and this as somebody who loves like sports media like I do, a year from now, we'll get the, oh, now you tell us, from somebody who leaves the athletic department or the football program, and then we'll hear more about it. But right now, anything we hear is more rumor, allegation, and sure, there is some good sourcing that's done and people will get good info. But to answer your question, unfortunately, I wasn't surprised. I almost thought, and I, again, was not going to be the one to stoke the flames because I'm just loyal to the school and I love it. And I really appreciate Mack as a person. But I was surprised it didn't get more coverage in between the Friday night article and even Wednesday. I really was. I thought it was a pretty big deal. I'd never heard of an athletic director being on a sideline like that, playing college football, covering college football.
Yep. And that became more and more apparent kind of throughout the week. And that's something like I obviously did not play college football, but I started to hear that from a lot of former players, not just Baylor, like just, that's weird. Our AD was only on the sideline for this or for this, and they never talked to us. And so that kind of did pick up a little bit throughout the week, didn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely did. And the more conversations I had, like I talked to Rod Babers this morning on my show, former Texas player. We were breaking down Texas, Georgia. And that was the first question I asked him because the news had just hit. I was like, what would you have done if what was his name? DeLost Dodds?
DeLost Dodds, yeah.
Yeah, if DeLost Dodds was on the sideline right before you were going to take the field after a kickoff or during the kickoff, he was like, that's beyond peculiar for that to happen. So I think once I heard that was so out of line of, one, the person I have met many times, Mack Rhoades, and two, just the overall structure of the sport and everything.
It is, and it's weird, and it's taking on new angles. This is all from Ross Dellinger on Thursday. Let's pull it up here, the little thread that he had. So a lot of people, including myself, when it first came out, was like, wow, like this is all coming from the Michael Trigg thing. It's not. Now there's a second investigation. A complaint was filed with the athletic department on Monday. That would have been November 10th. And so this is a separate thing. This we don't know about. And honestly, Pete, I know you've heard some more scuttlebutt. So have I. This is not, it's, how do I put this?
You can ask me whatever you want. I mean, if you like,
it's kind of sad in a way, from what we're hearing.
Dude, it totally sucks. You got a guy from your school representing the Big 12 as the chair of the college football playoff committee, and a misstep like this happens, allegedly.
And it's not right. It's not like, Mack has a pretty rock solid reputation, which I talked about yesterday. And honestly, I've talked to a lot of people before this about Mack Rhoades who've worked with him, worked around him. There were some people that said he's a big jerk, and some people said he's the greatest people ever. And then there's a lot that's in the middle. You know what that sounds to me like, Pete? Someone talking about a boss. Like that's
a successful guy a successful guy with an ego.
Correct.
Like that's ego gets a bad rap.
And the good and the neutral way outweighed the bad, by the way. I don't want this to sound like, I heard some horror stories about Mack Rhoades. And that's my point, is like, in this is not like a jerk being a jerk. You know what I mean? This is not like a jerk who's getting his comeuppance and that it was just one too many times.
It's totally out of
there's
character.
Something, yes, there's something else going on here.
And a lot of my frustration lies with, and this is not to anyone, like, I don't like people for whatever reason, not like I'm the Twitter police or the sheriff of social media, but people coming out now with stories that are like anywhere near like, oh yeah, this about Mack and that about Mack. It makes me upset. Like, now is not the time to be piling on. And if you are, I think that's lame. I really do. And that's my take on that. And the reason why I'm speaking like this is because you have a body of work, if you're Mack Rhoades, that shows you're a trusted, good person. And you said it. He's a boss. I'm sure he can be a prick sometimes. Like, that's
we've all had that. Like,
it's part of the recipe for success. A lot of my best work has been done under the iron fist of pricks. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times that's how you get motivated. There's different styles of managing people. But I was always kind of the guy that the Bill Parcells guy, like, needed to get on my ass to get me going, especially when I was younger. Not so much the case now. But the guy's got a pristine record and image, and as far as I am concerned and have witnessed and experienced. So it's shocking and it's a bummer. And, I hope whatever is going down gets figured out, and I hope he comes out okay. I know Baylor comes out.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, you're weighing this of like, I do hope that Mack kind of gets the help, gets what he needs in this time away. But to the other side of it, like, you made a mistake here. Whatever it is, like, you made a mistake here. Something needs to happen. And so at first, when I'm hearing this report, I'm thinking, okay, this is a way for Baylor to push him out. Now hearing what we're hearing and hearing kind of this 4-week timeline, which is now starting to pick up some steam, that he might only be gone for 4 weeks. Is that something that you think is plausible real quick? Or do you think this is the end of Mack Rhoades at Baylor?
Look, if gun to my head, this is such a strange situation.
Yeah, we don't.
That when something like this, the fact that something else has bubbled up from last Friday to today, is concerning, that maybe there's more that could come out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, as far as like, if the avalanche continues, like, I don't know if that's between Dr. Livingstone and everybody else at Baylor. And is there still a Board of Regents?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's just brand new, right? After like a couple years ago. So the Board of Regents, and I also wonder, we're in a world now where it's like, are donors involved? Like really, because they have
a part of it, yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, across the landscape of college sports, donors and folks that are giving large sums of money have larger voices or louder voices than they've had in the past. So there's a whole lot to think about here. If this stays what it is and nothing changes, like I believe in second chances. That's just me. But I also believe in consequences. So if there is something that is severe that bubbles up, that makes it untenable for him to remain at Baylor, then maybe there's a separation and Mack moves on and flourishes somewhere else and has a second act with everything squared away. But as it sits right now, Mack, take 4 weeks off, get whatever's going on together. Maybe there are more consequences that don't lead to the end of his job and he gets a second chance. But I have paused saying that just because this situation has been so strange.
Yeah, and it's kind of we're in the situation now of like post up for a month, see what comes out, see what else is here. There could be something major coming down the pipeline here, or maybe there's not. I mean?
People that you and I mean, I was a journalism school guy, but people like yourself and like, the Matt Mosleys of the world, a true dyed-in-the-wool like journalist who went to Baylor, they're doing. Folks of that ilk are doing work right now. Let's just say Ross Dillinger, So if there's something out there, it's their job to find out what's going on, and that's not my job. Like that, I don't do that for a reason because I think it's kind of crappy, and I just don't like. I don't like that, but it certainly does generate interest from me. I don't know if that's right, but so people will be doing some work to find out if there's more to this story.
And hey, we will keep you guys up to date with whatever we hear that is confirmed and sourced and all that right here on Locked On Baylor. We're late for a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what this means for Dave Aranda because it's a heck of a timeline right here with what it means for Baylor football. That's coming up next on Locked On Baylor. But first, today's episode is brought to you by DoorDash, which I definitely utilized last night watching Thursday Night Football, Patriots, Jets, of course. It's almost the weekend. It's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. For the Baylor Bears, we're obviously coming off a bye week. I didn't get to do this last week because we were doing a crossover. So I got to give it to the run defense. Is that cheating if I just give it to the whole run defense? They took the number 2 Big 12 rush offense in the league. That was redundant. And held them to 74 yards. It's their best output of the year. Definitely their best performance. And just like they delivered for the Baylor Bears, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you save every Saturday you order. You stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday, keep the streak alive, and fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period only running through next week, November 18th. So hop on it now with DoorDash. Back here with Pete Sousa on Locked On Baylor. We're still reacting to the breaking news of Thursday. Mack Rhoades taking a leave of absence, stepping away from Baylor, stepping away from the CFP. And of course, I mean, maybe this is a bad thing for me, Pete, but kind of the first thing I thought about was, oh man, the AD's gone for the foreseeable future, the next couple of weeks at least, and we're the next couple of weeks away from potentially firing a coach. And that is a massive, massive thing for any athletics program to have to do, to fire a football coach, bring in a new one, and kind of start anew. So now you've got 2 interim ADs in there, Cody Hall and Jovan Overshown, who have been right by Mack's side for years. So clearly they're kind of in tune to what this athletic department was doing already, whatever the status quo was in the final couple of weeks of the season. Does this give a little bit more job security to Dave Aranda, the fact that at least for the next month or so, we're looking at an interim AD situation?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, but it's certainly a very good one. And I think that the answer to that, first of all, you got like Jovan Overshown is a superstar, right? I think it's cool.
I have only heard good things about Jovan, by the way.
Me too.
And that's
me too.
That's like no BS. I got a lot of Baylor fans that I think are probably upset because she's part of the Mack regime and they just want Mack gone as an AD independent of these allegations, right? But like I have only heard good things about Jovan. So
I don't know. I do, and I know you're going to disagree, and we probably can have this debate offline. But like the people that want Mack Rhoades gone, I really don't. I don't see it. Like what? And the reason I say that is because maybe he has missed a little bit with Dave, right? Maybe he's been too patient, and maybe sometimes you miss, you do. But overwhelmingly, his body of work has been pretty damn good as an AD. I think like the Kim Mulkey situation was so difficult to navigate, and somehow he did.
And I think most AD, and this is where I have an unpopular opinion, I think most ADs in the country would have handled it the same way. And it's different to look back on 5 years later now, because women's basketball has taken off quite a bit in those 4 or 5 years. And so
Nikki Collins pretty damn good.
And Nikki Collins good. So I'm somewhere in the middle, Pete. I am somewhere in the middle. I look
at his track record. He hired Kelvin Sampson, right? Like that.
Yeah, but I don't know how many Baylor fans care about that.
But it's a
heck of a move. But now that's a rival.
But Baylor fans don't care about Matt Rhule bringing the school out of the ashes.
So that's a positive, and this is why I'm in the middle. This is why I'm in the middle here.
And then Dave goes to another Sugar Bowl. He wins it. I understand it was with. You could say it's with Rhule's players,
but he did it.
Yeah,
but he did.
Rhule
didn't do it. Yeah. So the other thing I will say, one last thing on it though. I will say that a lot of Baylor fans, and I totally understand this, is going off of kind of your first point of it, as he's too patient with Dave, and they're going to say that's the end all be all. Like if you don't get the football coach right,
happened on his watch too.
Yes, it did. I know. This is why I'm in the middle, Pete. This is why I'm in the middle.
I don't know what people are looking for. I mean,
but they're mad that Dave Aranda's still here, and that
I get it. Well,
the football program has declined, and so this becomes really interesting because, in one way, like obviously Mack is in his corner. Like he stuck with him after a 3-9 season when a lot of ADs would not have done that, and in another sense, recently this whole Michael Trigg situation, and that situation before the game. That was also Dave Aranda and other assistant coaches going at Mack. You know what I mean? So there's healthy competition within healthy cussing and yelling within a college football program, as we know. But there's a push and pull here that makes it really, really interesting to me. Like if Baylor wins one of the next 3, they're 6-6 and they're going bowling. Is that good for a standard Baylor year? I mean, I guess, but is it underwhelming for this year? Yes, it is.
Stinks. Okay, so hold on.
Yeah, it's like the old heads will say, 30 years ago we would have taken that, but that is super underwhelming for this year.
6-6 stinks. Okay, and let's not get over the fact that maybe he did hang on to Dave a little too long. I'm not gonna, but it's tough. Dave did a good job last year, winning 6 straight to end the season. There was a lot of optimism. Here's the issue now: fans that don't like Mack because Dave is here. I got bad news for you. This situation now has infused instability into the athletic department.
Big time.
And the one stable guy, like him or not, wins and losses wise, is Dave Aranda. He is a God-fearing guy, like a beacon of light. So if we are in a tumultuous time where there's this ooh, I don't know about that, Baylor. Maybe Dave is you know what? This is a guy who, image-wise, maybe we ride with him one more year. And, oh, by the way, he just might win. You know what I mean? He's got it in him. So I think that this situation affects Dave Aranda. And I know Dave wouldn't like this, or nobody likes it. It affects him positively, his future at Baylor.
Yeah, I don't think Dave was asking for it, but you're right.
No.
This is a great point. I do want to, real quick, if we're talking about the entire athletic department, I think Scott Drew would fit that mold. I don't know if you're just talking about football or whatever, but
fit what mold?
So this thing, huh?
Fit what mold?
What you were talking about, the God-fearing man, good and all that.
Great point. Great point.
But the other thing, the other point you make in there is a fantastic one. Again, we don't exactly know what's happening with this Mack Rhoades situation, but let's just say this turns out messy, right? And we've already heard it's a violation of Baylor's basically their code of conduct, and a lot of people are taking that of oh, is this like BYU? You have, relations and you got to get kicked out. No, like that's a way for Baylor to fire somebody if their image is not adhering to the university standards. Like that's just a way for Baylor to do that. And if that is the case, it's very easy to go back to Dave Aranda and say, again, God-fearing man, good guy, players like him, and he's got 2 good recruiting classes in a row coming in through the door. Like, we're going to have a guy who's not going to give us scandal. He's not going to give us controversy, and he's going to win as many games as he loses. Like that becomes a very easy thing for Baylor to fall back on image-wise if this Mack Rhoades thing blows up even more. And you're right. Like Dave probably didn't ask for this necessarily, but it kind of works in a backdoor way as a way to help him.
And imagine Dave, honestly, these are the stories that interest me the most. This is why I read all the Jeff Pearlman books. Like, what the heck is Dave thinking when the guy who hired him is in the mix? Dave's not he's probably like, oh my God, my athletic director is down here. Like, this is like, he's telling somebody that was weird, man. That was weird.
Yeah. Yes.
Way uncool. And so like those are the conversations. Like, what was the trainer thinking when he saw Dave Aranda, when he saw Mack Rhoades down there gripping up Michael Trigg? It's just, there's a lot to unpack here.
A lot, man. Yeah. A lot. And we will continue to unpack it whenever we hear more about it. But it's kind of interesting. I want to know what you guys think about Dave Aranda's job security after this. Let me know in the comment section below, because it's something we talk about all the time. It's something that's in the comment section all the time. What is kind of the effects of that? Let me know in the comment section below. When we come back, Baylor's actually going to play a football game tomorrow, which seems very odd at this time. But my prediction was right. Mack Rhoades is not going to be on the sideline. They are going to be taking on number 13 Utah, who is battling for a playoff spot. Is there any way that the Bears can pull the upset? And is there any way that more than one Big 12 team gets in the college football playoff? Let's talk about it next on Locked On Baylor. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, official partner of the NBA and the Locked On Podcast Network. Speaking of, the NBA is back. No better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the association. Pete used to work there. He can tell you that. Even if you miss the start of the game or you're trying to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to who's going to make the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when it's your team that's making that late push and you start to get the feeling. Right now, FanDuel's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Let me reiterate that so that you believe me. New customers get $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Locked On Baylor. Bears taking on number 13 Utah at McLean Stadium on Saturday. Pete, I've got kind of the external things going of like, oh man, something crazy can happen. Just because of this weird week of buildup, something crazy can happen. But you're a football guy, you're a college football player, inside the 12, ESPN, like you know this stuff better than I do. Is there anything that gives you confidence in Baylor on the football field this Saturday against a very talented Utah team?
I'll tell you, and I don't know how the bye works in, but I was super excited.
Teams coming off a bye, by the way.
Yeah, but I was super excited to see Baylor get off to a fast start against UCF. And they will need to do that against Utah. And I don't know how they do it. I'm not sitting here charting the first 20 plays of the game for Jake Spavital, but like if you get behind to this Utah team, it is a recipe for disaster. Like their pass defense is one of the best in the country. I think the best in the Big 12, maybe. They allow the fewest passing games.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yards. Yeah.
That's right.
And so this high-flying attack that like could find a way back against SMU early in the season, like it's not going to happen against Utah. You're not going to do a hurry up and just have dink dunk. And you might have it for a drive, but you're not going to be able to do it all second half or for the last 3 quarters. And Utah is a very physical team. They're very physical in the trenches. up front, especially on offense. Spencer Fano is going to be taken in the top 5, maybe 10 picks of the draft. Or I should say 10, maybe 5 picks of the draft, the offensive tackle. He's a right tackle for Utah. The other guy, whose name escapes me, their left tackle, is another first rounder. And they've got guard play. Their offensive line is really good. And yeah, so if they get a lead, it's not going to be good for Baylor. I don't think. They can salt the game away, running the football, and their defense is awesome. Now, the one outlier I will say is if Baylor can get a lead, right? If Baylor can get a lead, I believe that we're talking about 50-50. They could win the game. Really, if they're winning after the first quarter, even if it's 7-0, it's like, okay, this is our type of game. That will tell me everything I need to know. You know, they're only a 7.5-point underdog. At home, that's kind of lousy if you're a Baylor fan, but it doesn't necessarily negate the possibility of an upset, is what I'm saying. It's not insurmountable. It's not. UCF is a 23.5-point underdog at Texas Tech. Well, that's crazy.
For a conference game, that's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuts.
So we're not looking at that.
We're not. I do think this is unbelievable symmetry, right, with Baylor playing Utah this weekend, because now with Mack Rhoades out of the CFP, Mark Harlan's going to get that chair, like not the chair, but like a chair at the CFP for the Big 12. Find it fascinating that that's who your Mark was all about, and everyone was all about for the Big 12 representative, because it was not. I think it was right around 52 weeks ago when he got up in the press conference after the BYU game and said, we don't want to be in this conference anymore if those are the officials we're going to get.
Excellent point by you. I totally forgot that.
What are we living in right now? Like that's crazy. And he is like a respected AD, right? I don't want to say this guy is like a crook or anything, but he did like blatantly call out his conference more than any other AD has in the last couple of years, except for maybe after an Iowa State basketball game at the Foster Pavilion, Mack Rhoades, oddly enough. And now here he is getting the spot here. And Utah is right on the cusp at number 13 right now. They got they got BYU and they get Texas Tech ahead of them. And
analytically, by the way, they're the best 2-loss team in the country.
That does not shock me a bit, right? Their 2 losses are to BYU and to Tech. One of them was a blowout, right? But
Devin Dampier was hurt the whole second half.
They could be the best 2-loss team in America right now. And we know that they're super talented, and everyone looks at, where's the win? What are the big wins? And I'm like, really? Because the SEC, all they talk about is how good the losses are from the CFP. So this is something that you're following week in and week out. Is there any chance that the Big 12 could get 2, possibly even 3 teams in the CFP?
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, if there's a chance mathematically, which there is today, there's an opportunity for that to happen. But a lot has to go right. I think the best case scenario for the Big 12 is Notre Dame has to lose, and then this weekend would be a great opportunity for them to lose against Pitt. And then, of course, you need some chaos in the Big 12, in the SEC, and those teams. If you look at the strength of schedule that are vying for college football playoff at large spots out of the SEC, they have difficult schedules coming down the stretch. The Big 12, by the way, has already won, if you ask me. Last year we were debating, are they better than the ACC? I mean, that's over.
Yeah. And last year, to be fair, if there was no automatic qualifier, there was a chance there would be no Big 12 team in. I'm not saying that's right.
Around the Big 12 last year, there's the ACC this year. I hated that talk. Wow, well, mathematically, if they're not ranked high enough, whoever wins the championship won't get in. I was like, oh, wow, that's bad.
Yeah. They have cleared the ACC. It's a bad year for the ACC. Really it would help if Pitt got a win. It would help if Pitt got a win. And are you telling me, by the way, with the SEC chaos, are you telling me that us good Big 12 fans should be rooting against the Texas Longhorns this weekend?
Very much so.
I don't know if I can quite muster that up, Pete. I don't know if I can muster up the courage to root against the Texas Longhorns. I'm going to try. Damned if I won't try. Okay.
What if you looked at the Texas sideline and Mack was there, like the roughing up Arch Manning before the game?
I think that would be a great way to get in the Big 12's good graces again. I really do. I think that would be fantastic. I keep seeing that bracket projection, though, of number 10 UT traveling to number 7 Tech, and then the winner facing number 3 A&M. And I'm like, I need it. I'll do anything for it. It's not going to happen, but
I get fearful of that, and here's why: because it's almost like that team, like I don't know, like in 2011. Remember that guy Todd Haley is coaching the Chiefs, and they win the division. And it's like the first time he's ever done it, they've ever done it. They're the best team in the AFC, and they get their ass kicked in the wild card game against. And I think it was like, a historic AFC power. I'm not exactly sure who it was.
I think it was Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, I remember being like, oh, that doesn't surprise me. Like if Texas were to play Texas Tech, and I'm like, oh man, just don't lose, because that would be. It's almost too close for comfort.
No, it is. It is. I think Tech can beat anybody.
I do too, and if they met the second round, I feel
which I can't even tell you the last time I said that about a Big 12 team.
No,
and I like the Big 12. I defend it, huh?
They're elite.
They're that good. They really are that good. And they have crushed everybody except Arizona State under their weight in this conference, which is nuts. Pete, thanks, man.
Dude,
thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. It was an honor. And again, next time you and Toll like try to tackle a topic like this, right? The Mack Rhoades thing, you need to invite me on, because it's like nobody's mind in the store with the two of you.
Right.
You're waiting, and I appreciate.
We need a ref. We need a referee.
I appreciate that you guys are like disruptors and like you're so compelling and fun to listen to, but you're too close to the fire with this Baylor stuff. You guys go insane. You need someone to just kind of settle it down.
It's like
if you added Swingler to the mix, I mean, we'd have to burn it down.
I mean, that would be a bonfire, man.
Yeah.
Scotty.
By the way, I don't know. I don't think Scotty Swingler knows what the heck to do right now. He doesn't know how to feel.
There's a lot going on, but he's doing the Pete Sousa show. He's doing the Matt Mosley show. It's all on the Rogue Media Network. Pete Sousa is there at 10 a.m. Central Time every weekday. I'm right on that because I'm on 11. 10 a.m. Central Time every weekday. YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts as well. Inside the 12, ESPN, you're going to hear him a lot on the hardwood this year. A lot of courtside.
Monday night, I had Iowa State and Mississippi State in South Dakota.
At the Pentagon.
Iowa State is very good. Oof. Scary.
Standing headline.
They're very good. Yeah. So there you go.
Not a hot take. They nailed it with Otzelberger, man.
Woo!
Like they were so horrible for 2 years, and that was it. Like then they were back. Then they were fine. Anyway, thank you to Pete Sousa. Thank you to you guys who make it your first listen today and every day. You know the drill. Get in the comment section. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Helps me keep my job. Like the video if you like having Pete on here on Fridays. How about that? And then let me know how much you like having Pete on Fridays in the comment section below. We will see you after the game tomorrow night to break it all down. And then on Monday on your favorite show, Locked On Baylor.